Well, our next guest here on TSB has been involved in both the British and Dubai real estate industry for a total of 24 years. He moved to Dubai back in 2008 and has spent most of his time in Dubai, especially the area of Emirates Hills, which is now one of Dubai's most exclusive areas. Back in 2012, he launched his own company, Crompton Partners Estate Agents, which still operates in Abu Dhabi. But in 2019, he joined forces with his current partners and created Crompton Saltini Real Estate as a response to the need to deliver professional and ethical estate agency services to the local market. He also has the record of selling the most expensive property ever sold in Emirates Hills, an extraordinary 50,000 square feet property across 3 floors that went for a record price. He's known as a super prime property broker. Please welcome to the TSB studios, Barnaby, Barney Crompton. Thank you very much for joining us.
That's what your life flashing before your eyes sounds like.
Yeah, I was sitting there because we're fortunate enough to interview a lot of people. I mean, read out these intros. People sit there and they look back and they go, yes, I did do that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thanks for having me, guys. It's a pleasure.
What an amazing story. You know, you've been involved in and around the real estate market for 24 years. Those early days when people heard about these grand plans of Dubai, what was going to happen, there was going to be a palm, there was going to be these huge projects. Did you believe, or did the people around you sincerely believe Dubai was going to be where it is in 2024?
I have to caveat that I haven't been here for 24 years.
But you've been involved.
No. I was an estate agent in the UK.
Okay, right.
And then I moved out here in 2009.
Okay.
So, I mean, when I heard about the palm and things like that, I was equally as amazed. But Dubai only really came onto my radar when I came here on holiday about a year or 2 years before I moved out here. And we stayed in the Burj Al Arab, name drop. And yeah, it was fantastic then. And it was, even then, it was a place where I could really see myself living.
But then Dubai went through a massive metamorphosis, right? 2008, it all came crashing down. Hopes were lost. People didn't really think that one could actually, and especially in the real estate market, because a lot of people invested in the real estate market and overnight they left their cars, their houses or whatever they owned and went back to their own countries. From there to build or rather rebuild trust in a country, and you came in almost at the same time.
Yeah, I came 2 weeks before all that happened.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I was kind of lucky because I'd come in at the top, but I hadn't really got a grasp of the market. So when it was coming to its knees in many respects, I didn't really know what was happening. I just heard that the market was better, and then the phones stopped ringing, and in many respects it was a good thing because it was such a fire sale. Top to bottom was 8 or 9 months. And yes, that's impactful, but also it's a quick thing, right? And it gives more time to recover. So it was quite incredible to be part of, but I don't think I really understood the true magnitude of it.
And then we also noticed what happened in COVID. The market slumped, and then it's just absolutely rebounded.
Who'd have guessed?
Is there now a view, certainly within the market, that if there is another crash, that the market is now resilient enough? You won't get that drop because people have the confidence that the city will rebound.
Yeah, I mean, it's a sign of a maturing market, right? The peaks and the troughs are becoming closer and closer together, and the troughs aren't as deep as they used to be, and the peaks are higher. So that's a good sign for any market.
Now, talking about any markets, every market has its own segments, the standard segments, the regular economy level segments, and the luxury segments. Selling the luxury properties is nowhere close to selling your regular apartments. It is not like putting out an ad on Instagram where people will go through and they're like, oh yeah, this falls in my budget where I can pay 1% and then get my own house.
True.
It is a different ballgame altogether.
Very much so.
Right. In which case, how does one approach that, and how's your journey been in transiting to getting to the luxury segment?
Well, I don't want to give away too many secrets. How does it change? I mean, for starters, you got to know your craft. If you're selling 2-bedroom apartments in the marina, you're going to be selling frequently, at least one a month, right? So you're honing your skills. With what I do, 5 or 6 transactions a year, and I'm quite comfortable. So what you're not doing is honing your skills all the time. So you have to it has to become muscle memory in that respect, in terms of negotiation and how to deal with people. So that's how it changes, sort of at a surface level. What was the other question?
The question was that for you to pick between, going to Marina and selling those one-bedroom, two-bedroom
why
apartments.
did I do it?
Well,
How did I do it?
How did it all come about?
I've been selling houses since I was 17. So I'd like to think, I was fairly good at what I did do. And, it came to the point where I just had to make the decision. Is this something that I want to do? Am I committed enough? Because, it can be 6-7 months,
True.
8 months before you actually manage to broker your first transaction of a higher level. So I had to make sure that I had enough money in my bank account and I was committed enough to do it. And in the end, like everything in life, you just have to take the plunge. Just do it. And if you sink, you sink. If you swim, great.
You back yourself. You've got to have a
back
go
yourself,
sometimes.
yeah.
And you did that, as you said, when you came to Dubai in 2008. What was the first thing you noticed differently about the real estate market here compared to where you'd been working back home?
So at home, a quick transaction is, you can buy a house. So from seeing a house to getting the keys, a quick one in the UK is 2, 3, 4 months, 4 months. A long one, 6 months. Here I was astonished that you could, when I was here before, you could literally see it, transact the next day and get the keys, the following day. You could be in and out within 48 hours. You had to pull a few strings, but it was possible. That to me was astonishing, and the way it's progressed, the way the market has evolved, as quickly as it has done. You can see it's obviously taking a lot of nuances from other markets across the world and then fine-tuning them to make the market that we see today.
Yeah, well, where do you think it's taking the most influence from?
It's such a melting pot of options. A lot of the online stuff has come from things like Rilla in the UK, in the US. A lot of the marketing structures that they've done there. But in terms of the way that the processes are done, they lend a little bit from the US in as much as that they're starting to bring in more conveyancing companies, more lawyers. But I don't know of any other market in the world that moves as quickly as this one in terms of being able to get your keys as quickly as you can.
Now, the luxury market segment, again, your specialization, Emirates Hills definitely is one of those places. But with the new Palm coming in and Dubai trying to find newer places where, more luxury units would come through, is this where the entire world is looking at that, hey, this is where I want to park my money? Is it a safe haven as everyone thinks it is?
You do sometimes feel like you're in the goldfish bowl looking out. Right. Sometimes with Dubai, we're here living our life in Dubai, and we constantly hear news about people wanting to move here, people looking at Dubai as a safe haven, not just for their families but for their money.
Right.
Dubai's really stretched its wings in that respect, and has become a much more attractive place for a larger demographic of people, for sure.
And when you're looking at that change, where do you see is if you can predict the next growth corridor? Because you keep talking about, I hear a lot of agents talking about it is that area from Palm Jebel Ali all the way out to Al Maktoum Airport tends to be the next area of growth over the next 10-15 years. Can we isolate one area yet, or is it just?
I didn't bring my crystal ball. Look, my gut feeling is, whether I think it's going to be the next boom market, certainly the most valuable real estate in Dubai is from the flagpole down to the marina. Jumeirah 1, 2, 3, Sakim, those kind of areas. If you think about it, Dubai is becoming a more location-based community. It's now, everything when I got here was up and down Sheikh Zayed Road, so the location wasn't that important. But now you have communities going further and further out. It now is location-based. Location. It's an old adage that we've all heard.
Yeah, but on that point, I want to get at the location and also the work-life balance. Just speaking to a lot of people, traffic this year since October, you're right, seems to be just, it is just increased double from the previous year.
Mad, isn't it? I've noticed it.
Have you, and people are doing business deals, they want to do it at 11 in the morning rather than 7 at night because no one can get down Sheikh Zayed Road.
Yeah.
Are you seeing that affect where people are wanting to live and work and buy with the real estate market?
I mean, you cut your coat to suit your cloth. Right. If I need a 4-bedroom house and I've got X amount of million, that kind of limits to where I can live. but as I said, everybody wants to be as well located as as their budget can afford them. So no, it doesn't really change much. It just means that there's a lot more affordable housing further out.
Okay.
Now, you mentioned about, people coming in and saying that this is my budget. Now, in the luxury segment, like in the economy segment, do people, just bring in bags of cash and say, hey, this is what I want? Or do they also wait out for the bank's approvals, mortgages and all of that? Because there is one way to look at saving or putting in that extra buck and making more money out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really. You're talking about investing, and I always sing the song that if you're investing, it's better to spend the bank's money than your own.
Precisely.
Predominantly, what I do is I sell people their homes, and a lot of the psychology here is, I buy my home in cash because when I have my home, no one can take that away from me. That is my castle.
Right.
So we don't see a huge amount of mortgage transactions in our segment, but not to say that they don't happen.
This is interesting because, like you mentioned that if I want to, and I'm sure that, within the segment, there would be people who would want to be, who will be willing to pay that cash, save on a lot of interest as well, isn't it? Is that something that comes in their mind, or they don't really think about all of these aspects at all? And is there a bigger chunk that wants to buy their own homes versus investment in the luxury segment?
Luxury investments are not typically good investments. You'd be lucky to get return on investment of 5 or 6%. Which
Wow.
for the rest of the world sounds phenomenal, but for Dubai, you can walk into an investment at 7 or 8, 9%,
10% easy.
So if you're going to spend 70 million dirhams, you want to be making 7, 8, 9, 10% on
Right.
70 million rather than the 4 or 5 that you get from a luxury option.
Wow.
So the big units, they're homes.
Do you think when it comes to that area, as a super prime property broker with those luxury apartments, is the hardest thing getting the listing, or is the hardest thing finding a buyer?
Depends what market we're in.
Okay.
Right now finding a realistic seller is actually pretty difficult. But we're noticing that people are becoming a little bit more realistic. But this time last year, people were just sticking their apartments, their houses on the market, and knowing that the market would come to them. So we're finding that sellers are a little bit more realistic now.
And how important is knowing the people that you want to keep company of, repeat buyers or people who are within that segment? Your phone book would be like extremely heavy with those heavyweight names.
It is. If I lose my phone, I'm in real trouble. I make sure it backs up every night. Yeah. I mean, look, I have some great names. I'm lucky enough. And also, this is the thing. Working in London before I came here, I would work my life to meet 10% of the people that I've met in Dubai.
Right.
And I'm very fortunate to be able to have the kind of people in my Rolodex as I do. Showing my age a bit there.
Well, you've had a remarkable career since coming out here.
Thanks.
A lot of people tend to think that, I can get into real estate. That'll be easy with a glamorous lifestyle.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for someone who is thinking of taking the plunge and getting into real estate?
Yeah, how thick is your skin? This is not a game for the faint of heart. The hours we work, the fact that the stories I could tell you quite a lot of the time would make your toes curl. You have to have a really thick skin in this. And if you're getting in it for the money...
We've got plenty of time, Barney.
I was worried you would say that. If you're getting it into it for the money, sure, that's a great short-term fix. You might make a sale here or there. But if you really wanted to make a career out of it, this is a lifelong commitment to an industry that not many people would understand that aren't in it. Right.
Now, I mean, a classic difference. I come from India, where I've met obviously a few real estate agents. They're nowhere close to half as well dressed and suited up with fancy teeth and fancy hair and great watches like people over here. Is it a mandate in this part of the world that you have to drive the best cars, best suits?
Look at me.
That's precisely why I wanted to ask you.
I'm in jeans, Converse, and a t-shirt. Look.
He's dressing like Steve Jobs. It's all right.
I've got a wardrobe of blue jeans and purple t-shirts. Look, it is at some point, but I think I you become an elder statesman of the industry, you don't feel like you need to have the trappings that come along with it. I ditched the suit 4 or 5 years ago. I don't walk around with a Rolex. It's not my jam.
Right.
People who are buying houses from me don't care how I dress. They care what I can deliver and how I can deliver it. So some people do. It is the trappings of your success, and you're well within your rights. You've earned the money to spend it how you want. Just not for me.
Well, congratulations on your success. If people do want to get in contact with you, maybe they've got a super prime property that they're looking to offload. Where's the best place? Crompton Saltini Real Estate. Look them up. That's the best place to go.
Yeah, or you can get me on my social media. Instagram is barnaby.crompton. That's probably where I'm at my most prevalent. Or you can I give my telephone number out?
Yeah, you can. Go for it.
All right, it's 055 88 23 127.
If you want to get in contact. Well, Barnaby Crompton, Barney, well done. Congratulations
Thank
on
you,
all the
guys. I
years of
appreciate it.
success. And thank you for joining us
Same
here
to
on
you.
Talk
Thank you.
100.3.